Good afternoon, folks. Happy Saturday. See if we can get some folks to come in here real quick. Let me know if you can hear me. If not, I'm gonna keep going anyway. Just give people a couple minutes to come in. Just saw something real interesting, so I wanted y'all's opinion on it also. Jay, yes, that song. Yes. I didn't feel like looking for anything else that wasn't copywritten because I do not need another strike. Because YouTube went ahead and snatched down my last video. So we are back. I got rid of the red, I would say about a month ago. I was tired of it. I had dyed my hair a natural black, but as you can see, it's still kind of brownish or whatever. You might not can see it in the camera, but the black tint is slowly washing away and my bleached hair color is coming through again. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. All right. Enough of that. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Is my picture like glitching on y'all's end? It keeps blinking on my phone. This is on my phone. Are you seeing the blinking too, Jay? Or is it just on my side? Because I don't know what's happening. I keep seeing it flash every couple seconds. Thank you, Chocolate Bay, for sharing. As you can see by this title, Stimulus number 2. Is that you, player, coming across the Himalayas? Shout out to Mr. Jerome, Mr. Jerome from Martin. So, a couple minutes ago, presidents of the United States had a press conference. I believe he is at some golf course, of course, but he's not at the White House, whatever. So the whole point of this was to really address the financial situation of America and what's happening in the midst of the coronavirus and all of that that's going on. So as you've seen in the news, there's been a lot of back and forth amongst the Republicans and Democrats trying to develop a plan for the American people. People still are laid off. Jobs are closing. Schools are doing whatever at the moment. But he had hinted at him using his executive power to solve the problem of this deal. So today he signed 4 executive orders to provide economic relief to millions of Americans. I'm using this article from the Washington Post as my reference, even though I watched most of the press conference myself, but I'm just using this to reference. So he signed 4 executive orders today. One of the executive orders would aim to provide $400 in weekly unemployment aid for millions of Americans. As you know, that is a little bit less than the $600 that people were receiving that expired last month. It looks like some of the money will be paid by the states, and other parts of the money will be funded by the federal government. Gonna fast forward a little bit. We go to the end of the press conference. He's taking questions, And this girl, I don't want to say girl, this woman, this reporter, she asked him, with the $200 gap that the new plan would provide, well, the plan creates between the 600 and the 400, do you think that will be a detriment to the American people having that $200 deficit? Uh, his response was fumbled words as always. Uh, and basically shut down the press conference after she asked that question, because she called him out saying that that's false information, that what he's giving will be more than the 600 additional dollars that they were receiving per week before. Like I said, she called him out, and he literally shut down the press conference. He was like, well, that's it. I'm gone. This man has the ego of a 7-year-old. It's quite unfortunate that he can be so sensitive that he can't even take a proper question. She was very valid in what she was saying, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. And two of the other executive orders would relate to the eviction protections. That was one of the other things that was getting ready to run out. Whereas landlords couldn't evict people for having missed rent payments in the midst of the pandemic, if they had been discharged from work or laid off for whatever reason, that was getting ready to expire. And just knowing the housing situation in America, most people are really only 1 or 2 checks away from losing their housing. Like that's no stretch of the imagination at all. Me as a teacher, if I was to lose my source of income for 2 months, I wouldn't have anywhere to live that I could finance on my own. So I'm glad to see that is continuing to be protected, whereas people won't be just put out on the street, given the circumstances of the economy. And then another one of his executive orders was looking at student loan relief. He didn't really go into much detail about that. He didn't go into much detail about a lot of the points that he made, obviously, because he probably doesn't know all the ins and outs. Yes, he signed this executive order, but I do not believe that he drafted it on his own. I'm sure the White House staff had a heavy hand in taking care of the specifics of this plan. I'm sure he had his little things that he wanted to put in there just to give his little touch. And the fourth executive order I thought was pretty interesting. Was about the payroll tax. Reading from the article, it says, in the fourth executive order would seek to defer payroll tax payments from August 1st retroactively through December for people who earn less than $100,000 per year. He said that if he wins re-election, he would seek to extend the deferral and somehow terminate the tax. The tax funds Social Security and Medicare benefits, and it's unclear what will happen to those programs without the money. That feeds into a very big discussion that we've had for years in America. What is going to happen to Social Security? What's going to happen to Medicare? Because if he cuts out individuals being income taxed, yes, we would get a little bit more money per paycheck, but we're also not buying into those future systems of Social Security and Medicare that we may need as we get older. So that's a big question. Where is that money going to come from if he terminates those taxes? And again, a couple extra dollars, yes, would be nice. I pay an unfortunate amount in taxes in general on my paycheck, and I'm sure most people can empathize with that. You look at your check, you you looking at your taxes, and that's 3 or 4 days out of work right there. So yes, that would be a couple extra dollars that we would uh, be getting if this does go through uh, as he said. So he said that this is on Friday. Trump acknowledged that the executive orders could be controversial as we see that they are, and prompt lawsuits. Democrats on Friday signaled they were holding out on hopes that the talks with the White House would be revived. One thing that really stuck out to me uh, in the press conference, he continued to take little jabs, just little slick jabs at the Democrats. It's like, sir, can't you just say what you gotta say and move on? There's no need to be shady. There's no need to just be ugly, because that's what it really boiled down to in my mind. Like, he's doing everything he can to shovel crap on the Democrats. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of the Democrats, nor am I a big fan of the Republicans. I don't believe that a two-party system is what is best for America. Obviously, that hasn't gotten us far. And we can see where we are right now with the Republican majority in place. So he's taking shots at Biden, throwing Biden's name around, saying that he could list out the governors who's done a great job and those who's done a bad job. If you want to hear it, just let me know. That's literally what he said. If you want to know, just let me know. We can make time for it. But yes, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that these executive orders are going to make a difference? Do you think we are actually going to get another stimulus? Again, there was not a specific point in where he talked about a stimulus check being distributed as it was done before. I'm looking through this article and I don't see it here as well. Yeah. One other thing they noted was that the unemployment rate in February was 3.5%, almost at a historic low. But then once we got to April and we were in the big swing of the coronavirus, unemployment jumped up to 14%. But now it's back at 10.2. But that still leaves 30 million Americans collecting unemployment benefits. So even though that percentage is dropping, we are still not out of the dark just yet. I don't know if we're going to actually get us another stimulus check. That's why I put them question marks up there. It's not certain. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm interested to see what these executive orders will roll out as far as specifics. I'm sure we'll get a breakdown once the news media gets a hold of it. We'll get a little bit more clear picture once it has been officially passed. I don't know if it's been, I don't know how that works. Oh well. But let me see what y'all say in the comments. Didn't say shit about he did again. He did not explicitly state that there will be a second check. So we don't know if a stimulus will be coming to the individual American people as it did before. My income has definitely been hit. Teaching has been a moment at a time. Sure. Teachers are really taking it day by day. I'm preparing to go back to school on Monday, and we're walking in the dark. Like we don't know much, but we know we're going back. Our students won't be back, but we will be working from campus. So we'll still be doing virtual school, but the staff will be on campus. But for the most part, we still are not clear on a lot of things that's going to be happening in the coming weeks and months. But yes, that's a little update on the economic relief for the American people during the coronavirus pandemic. I would definitely keep my eye out for any updates. If any further press conferences happen, I would definitely make sure to tune into those. I know it's very hard to listen to Donald speak for 30 minutes to an hour. I know. I had to turn my computer down. I was like, I can't take this, man. Like, I really cannot. Okay, that's not bad, but I want to stay home. Yeah, I agree with you. Jay. Like, I think it's like it's built into our school plan that we have like a week's notice that kids will be coming back, so we'll have like a week of transition. But I don't know. I don't know what we expect, how we expect students to properly social distance. Take Georgia, for example. I'm sure you've all seen that picture of the high school while kids are changing classes and the hallways are packed and no one's wearing a mask. Like, it looked like a regular day. There are maybe 3 or 4 people in the picture who had on a mask. And even then, y'all, do you know that child was suspended? They suspended that child from school for taking that picture because it violated the codes of conduct as far as cell phone use in the schools and taking pictures of minors. Let you call my mom. Say I'm in high school and you call my mom and tell her that I've been suspended for taking a picture in the hallway. Taking a picture of your negligence. My mom's gonna laugh at you and send me to school the next day because that's unacceptable. Like, I understand, yes, she broke a code of conduct, but she's showing that you all are not doing what you should be doing to protect our students. And that was another thing that Trump kept touching on, is how much the Democrats they don't want us to help the schools. Like, sir, when has the Republican Party ever really cared about public education? I just don't get it. Right, they're just mad they got exposed. Like, they gotta take it out on somebody. We're gonna make a lesson. Right. And she won't be the only one. I'm sure we are gonna see dozens of pictures of schools where people are not social distancing. Students are not wearing masks. I'm sure teachers have no issue wearing the mask. My school says teachers have to wear masks in the presence of students, or if they're in close meeting spaces with other teachers. If you are spread out throughout the room and it's just adults in the room, we can take off our masks if we're properly distanced. But at all times that we're working with students and whatnot, we should have on a face mask and or a face shield. We're being provided with those things, and I'm so thankful for that. But in reality, somebody's going to get exposed and we're going home. Like, that has held true in nearly every state that has opened up. As soon as we're 2-3 weeks in, somebody came in contact with it. In Georgia, there were like 200 staff members sent home after being in a training with somebody who had either tested positive or had been exposed to somebody else who had tested positive. So that the stakes are high. The stakes are high. I don't know. I'm gonna wrap this up with a little quick recap. Trump did a press conference where he signed 4 executive orders. One of the executive orders, the aim is to provide the $400 weekly for unemployment aid. Whereas they had 600, so there's a $200 deficit there. That, according to him, this is what he said it's going to motivate people to go back to work. People can't go back to work because their jobs aren't there. It's not that they just said, I'm going to stay home. F all that. Places are literally closing. My mom was laid off for a good bit. Like, it is hitting people daily. Like, you don't know if you're going to go to work tomorrow. Like, it. This may be America's downfall. Like, I hate to sound morbid, but America's not, we're not proving ourselves to be built for this. He talked about how other countries are not faring well in the midst of a pandemic. Sir, we're not faring well in the midst of this pandemic. One of the other executive orders was to extend eviction protections so that people who have been displaced from work, they will not lose their housing if they're renting a home or renting an apartment. I would be interested to know how people who have like a mortgage on their home, how they're navigating these times, because a lot of these protections seem to be centered around rental property. So I wonder what people who own their homes are doing. And extended student loan relief. Don't know what that means. That might just mean deferment of payments till the end of the year. They need to go ahead and wipe all them bitches out. Like that if we could eradicate student loan debt, wipe it off my credit score, bitch, we would be in business. As my grandma say, we cooking with grease. We cooking with grease at that point. And the last executive order would be to defer payroll tax payments from August 1st retroactively to the end of the year for people who make less than $100,000 a year annually. So keep an eye out for further updates on this economic package, this stimulus package. I don't know if we're going to get a stimulus check. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thankful to have had a steady income in the midst of the pandemic. But again, it seems like prices of things have skyrocketed in the midst of all this. I moved in the midst of a pandemic, and the amount of times I had to swipe that card, and input that card number, do Jesus. I know they're not going to get rid of student loans, but listen, I'm sending up 20. I'm sending up 20 prayers because student loans, that's just... If you look at the total amount that American citizens owe in student loans, they're not getting that back. Like people have been paying on their student loans for 20 and 30 years at this point, possibly even 40. And that debt is not going anywhere, and it's only going to get worse as we continue because schools are becoming more expensive and people need more advanced degrees to have a certain level of income in their future. So again, I say keep your eye out for more updates. If I get word that there is an official stimulus package coming, I will definitely make sure to do a little update to this video. I found this guy on YouTube. I'm gonna give y'all his name. He does like little daily updates on the stimulus situation. And what is his name? was just on his channel earlier. I'm going to find it real quick, y'all. Give me a moment. He gives pretty thorough, non-biased briefings on Stephen Gardner. Stephen Gardner. Go check out Stephen Gardner's channel where he does his updates on the stimulus packages. My mom got hers forgiven. And that's another thing about like student loan forgiveness. You have, at least for teachers, I believe, I'm not absolutely certain, but for like the public service forgiveness for student loans, you have to be teaching for 10 years to even start the process, I'm pretty sure. So for like young people, younger teachers like me, I don't have 10 years under my belt. I'm going to year 3. So I got like 7 more years to go, I think, before I can actually apply to have my student loans forgiven. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. If you have not seen his executive order, go ahead and try to scroll through the video. I know listening to that man is pretty painful. Listening to me might be painful too because I don't like my voice. Excuse me. But yes. Make sure you like this video. I'm about to go ahead and wrap this up. I wanted to come in and give a few minutes of my time to y'all because I did a video earlier and me and Jonathan were just texting back and forth about this. You know, YouTube struck down my video. I had did a cute little reaction. To this Korean artist. What's her name? So Young. I had did a reaction to her and they sent me a nice little email saying they had snatched down my video. So in order to get these watch time minutes, I had to come back on here for a little bit. And for teachers like me, listen, I don't I love the field of education. I love the purpose of education. But I know deep down on the inside part that I will not be teaching for 10 years. I'm planning to go into the mental health field at some point and do therapy or something of that nature. But I got to go to school for that first. So I've been trying to figure that out. Like, where am I going to go to school next? Because it's time for another degree. I already got one. I need some extra letters behind my name. So yes, thank you all for joining. Make sure you like this video on the way out. If you are catching the replay, thank you for coming through. Thank you, Chocolate Bay, for coming through and sharing the video. Again, keep your eye out. It seems like things are moving a little differently when it comes to the economic stimulus package this time around. So make sure you're keeping an eye out on that. Update your banking info if needed and do all that you need to do so you can get your funds and all of that. And if you're receiving unemployment, I would definitely make sure to start planning ahead because I'm sure that $200 deficit between the $600, $400 is going to make a big difference. So I want everybody to stay safe. Make sure you're wearing your mask, social distancing, doing all the things you can to stay safe, okay? That's it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great Saturday. Adios.